It was in the context of our newly gained independence from Britain in 1962 that the Local Government Committee was formed on 25th May 1965. The report from that inquiry was laid in the House of Representatives nearly 1 year later, on 13th May 1966. The members of the committee were Mitra Sinanan as chairman, Mark Thomas Julian, Karen Beckford, Francis Privat, and Ralph Garner. Mr. Eric Hart was appointed secretary to the committee. Its terms of reference was to reappraise the system of local government in this country in the context of independence. The first type of local governance to be used in Trinidad was the Illustrious Cabildo. It was established in St. Joseph, then called San Jose de Aruna, and the country's first capital in the year 1592 by Spanish colonists. Taxpayers annually elected members of the Illustrious Cabildo, which had wide executive powers. When Governor Don Jose Maria Chacon took office in 1783, he restructured the Cabildo, limiting its powers. The following year, he ordered it to be relocated from St. Joseph to Port of Spain. The origins of the present local government system in Trinidad, however, goes back to 1840 with the start of British rule. When Trinidad changed hands from Spain to Britain, the Cabildo was not done away with, but their powers were further limited as the authorities attempted to modify it to an English-style municipality. This was achieved fully with Ordinance No. 6 of 1840, which saw it moving from a Cabildo to the Town Council of Port of Spain. It consisted of the governor as president and 12 town councillors in what was a form of limited representative government. In 1849, Governor Lord Harris, on advice and consent of what was now called the Council of Government, Trinidad was carved into two divisions, the Northern Division and the Southern Division. This was ratified by Ordinance No. 8 of 1849 called Division of the Colony of Trinidad into Divisions, Counties, Districts and Wards. The ordinance stipulated that each division be divided into 4 counties. The Northern Division comprised of the counties of St. George, St. David, Caroni, and St. Andrew, while the Southern Division included Victoria, St. Patrick, Nariva, and Mayaro. Each county was split into 2 districts, and each district was subdivided into wards. Ordinance No. 9 gave the governor powers to appoint wardens to oversee each ward. It should be noted that up till this time and on to 1888, Trinidad and Tobago had not yet been joined. Also, the island of Trinidad was directly ruled from Britain as a crown colony, with no elected representation, unlike Tobago and the rest of the British West Indies, where an elected assembly was the custom. Port of Spain was given borough status in 1852. San Fernando, however, was issued a municipal charter since 1846 and then constitutionally revised as a borough in 1851. The charters allowed for the election of town councillors and mayors. The boroughs were also responsible for their own finances and were often in debt to the colonial government for loans extended to undertake public works. The rest of the island was administered by non-salaried officers called commandants and divided into quarters in a holdover from Spanish times. These boroughs were not included in the boundaries of the counties. The counties were overseen by the nominated Council of Government. As mentioned before, in 1849, Governor Lord Harris proclaimed a slate of wards and counties, which was the first step towards modern local government. A council known as the Local Road Board, with appointed members, oversaw the whole, and the actual work of administration was done by public officers known as wardens, who were assisted by ward officers. After 1888, Tobago was administered by a commissioner, later called a warden, who was appointed by the governor. The next time major changes were made with respect to Trinidad and local governance was in 1918, where Ordinance No. 1 saw the elimination of the Southern and Northern divisions with its 4 counties each, and instead established the same 8 counties across the island. During this time came the first rumblings of the labor movement, which organized trade unions. They increased the pressure for greater local democracy and then independence as a nation. This unrest prompted an investigative visit to the Caribbean by Parliamentary Undersecretary of State for the Colonies, Major Wood, between December 13, 1921 and February 14, 1922. A recommendation was then made for 7 elected and 19 nominated members in what was now called the Legislative Council. As such, the first elections to the Legislative Council in 1925 were authorized by Ordinance Numbers 41 and 42. Voting rights were based on property or income qualifications. This meant only 6% of the population was eligible to vote. The island was organized into 7 districts for the purpose of this election: the city of Port of Spain, the county of Caroni, the county of St. George, the eastern counties, St. Andrew, St. David, Nariva, and Mayaro, the county of Victoria, the county of St. Patrick, and the ward of Tobago. However, the small number of elected representatives did not satisfy the growing demand for political expression of the people. In 1937, the workers won the right to organize trade unions, and this led to the labor disturbances of the 30s and the call for more elected representation. In a concession, 1941 saw an increase in the number of elected members to the Legislative Council. However, continued pressure from Labour forced the British Parliament to grant universal adult suffrage to Trinidad and Tobago, but limiting the franchise to persons 21 years and over. In a historic move, the first general election for members of a legislative council was held under universal adult suffrage on July 1, 1946. For the purpose of this election, county councils were established in both Trinidad and Tobago with the passage of Ordinance 18 of 1945. The colony, as it was still officially called, was now divided into electoral districts and divisions. The ordinance clearly defined the constitution and duties of county councils and the procedure regarding county council elections, the first of which were held on 28 October 1946. The county council system now saw each county being vested with a number of elected local government representatives for each ward within each county. The system of wardens and ward officers continued, however, since rates and taxes were still paid directly to the warden. In 1990, the Municipal Corporations Act was passed. It provided for the continuation of the city and borough corporations for the erection of certain other municipal corporations and for the consolidation and reform of laws affecting local government. It permitted the split of the existing 8 counties into 14 municipalities, including the cities of Port of Spain and San Fernando, and the boroughs of Point Fortin, Arima, and Chaguanas, with minor amendments like the name change from municipal corporations to regional corporations. It is this system of local government that has largely persisted to this day, from the Cabildo to the regional corporation.